Round 10
Is that how
of
we're
the
going to...
NRL. The Back Yourself podcast is here. We're talking behind the scenes because that's the fucking sort of round.
Well, we have
that's
to deal
up
with
ahead for
Tigers
us.
fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hussein and Christopher here, my brother from another mother.
We're in beige.
I'm a bit out of it, to be honest. The NBA is out of control, but
It's
hopefully the NRL will be a bit better of fortune for the Back Yourself podcast.
Well, if you are truly, if we think the NRL is the NBA, then Tigers are going to win, aren't they?
Tigers are going to win. Dolphins are going to win.
No.
Sharks are going to win.
Dolphins isn't big enough.
No, because every underdog will win.
No, Titans.
Well, I feel like with the footy, when you get
Titans.
somewhat of a favourites round, which is what we had in Magic Round, until Raiders of War came out.
Some idiot's going to win.
Some degenerates win the following round. So
I actually believe...
I'm on degenerate watch.
I actually believe in a lot of the underdogs. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, it helps that the games are quite evenly priced.
No,
besides the Tigers one.
Even the ones that aren't evenly priced.
Well, there's not many.
Well, Knights are playing.
Well, we'll get to Knights, but before we do that, we've got to get to Para and the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football at Bankwest Stadium. The Dolphins are coming to town after getting smashed the prior round by the Roosters, and Para getting smashed is nothing new for them, but they do seem to have a bit more life at Bankwest Stadium. So the ins and outs, everyone's favourite. How have you been performing?
I have to read the whole ins and outs and
it's a massive job.
Add in my comments, obviously, by reading. And then, obviously, I read some degenerate, like Corey Allen playing, and then I have to stop.
Luckily, I'm back to take that big weight off.
I have seen the ins and outs this week.
You can just react. Because I actually, this is my first time.
Do you want me to read it for you? And then you.
I got us. It's funny unfolding while I think. So Matt Dury has been added to the bench. That's their saviour, Dury. It comes to defending Jason Royal. Hooker Brandon Hands is listed among the reserves for no reason, and Ryan Madison is listed as 18th man. I think he should be listed as 8th man, but anyway, Jason Riles knows better than me.
Yeah, he
does. A massive boost for the Dolphins, with Felice Kafusi and Kurt Donahue both back on deck. Mark Nichols reverts to the bench where he belongs, along with Keeley, who goes to the reserves. Jeremy Marshall-King will miss the game due to complications related to a cut received earlier this season.
Fuck this cunt.
A cut.
You know he was out for 2 matches while you're in Iran because of this cut, and now he's out again.
This must be a massive.
That's why he can't tackle anyone anymore. The cuz.
Okay, yeah, I'll give him a pass. He's cut.
Yeah.
So Donahue will go to hooker, it seems.
That's good. I like Donahue.
We have a spread of 1.5, which truly, technically shows you how bad Dolphins are. That
Parrot can be
would be
favourite to
laying
anyone.
points to anyone, but that might be the power of Bankwest with Mitch Moses being present there. Do you see Parrot getting another win in the column, or are they that awful that they would lose to fucking Dolphins?
I can't tip against Dolphins. It's like, it'll truly be heart-wrenching if they go and win, to be honest.
Dolphin?
Yeah. Like, them giving up is not, like, it might happen. Like, it's obviously possible. But knowing these idiots, at some point they're going to turn it around. And what I worry about is the Dolphins' offense. And they can score. They may not be able to defend anything, but they can score. And Para, like, yes, they've been competitive in games because of Moses, but let's say Dolphins get a minimum of 24. Dolphins' minimum is 24, almost. Like, you could say that's probably the lowest they'll get, the way Para are defending. Para will at least score 20. So you're expecting Para to probably score 26 and Dolphins to score less than them. In a shootout, there's only one team I'm taking, is Dolphins. And that's what it seems like it's going to be. There's no defense possible with these two.
Okay, both of these cunts can't defend. That's point number one. But in a shootout situation at Bankwest, do you trust Dolphins to overcome Para when knowing both teams can't score?
Well, both teams can.
With Moses.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, knowing both teams can't defend. Sorry, is what I was trying to say.
Moses is brilliant, and I'm not saying he's not. But I feel like the rest of the team lets him down a little bit.
I feel like with the ball in hand, technically, Moses kind of uplifts everyone else's game.
Yeah, he does.
Like Dillbags in isolation, God, he's been awful. But the one game in Bankwest where they got the win against Tigers, where they scored over 30 points, and you would consider the Tigers D to be much better than the Dolphins one.
Correct.
So it's not just that, Mitch is back and Mitch does X, Y, Z. It's Mitch is back and everyone else plays like 5% better.
Yeah, no, that's already accounted for. Otherwise, Para would be underdogs. So,
of course, yeah.
but I feel like this is like more from a pain point of view, I'd rather lose on Dolphins and know that they're done for the year than bet on Para and watch Dolphins go out there and drop 40 because these guys can't defend. It genuinely could get to a point, like if Dolphins get on a roll, and what we saw against better teams, Melbourne and Penrith, it was just set, try, get the ball back, try. And Para haven't shown anything in defense to say that they're any good, to be honest. Yeah. So I know Moses does bring him up a lot, but it's just if they had Lomax, I think that's the tipping point. I would take Para, but without Lomax, it's very hard to tip them this week.
Do you think there's a more desperate side in this game, or are they both?
Yeah, but Dolphins are more desperate. Yeah. Because I think Para genuinely know that they're not going to make the 8. They can't start like that, not have Moses and make the top 8. So they're more like, all right, let's start as many young idiots as we possibly can, at least give them some time. Dolphins are more thinking, we can still make it. Genuinely, we can score. So we can still make the 8. So it's not a problem. And also, Rilers hasn't proven anything to me. Neither has Wolf. But Wolf, in my opinion, on paper, I think they have a better team.
Yeah, Wolf, wow.
They're both awful.
Yeah.
That's why it's pick 'em, right? They're both shit house teams. But I have to take the Finns in this one. Up the Finns. I think they win this game.
This is a really hard one to tip. Top to bottom, fuck me. I'd probably stay away from the side. I'd go overs.
Overs is it should be 60. 60.
In Bankwest on a Thursday night, knowing both of these teams give up at will, I can't see either of them being particularly resilient.
No way.
And with Mitch there, Para have better goal kicking. I guess Lomax is quite good as well.
They both have great goal kicking. Osaka's fantastic.
Osaka's quite good as well. And like you said, when you take overs and there's periods of the game that there's not many points scored, you look for teams like these two idiots that can... Titans also come to mind. Dragons.
Do Knights?
No, because Knights, is, no matter what you do... Knights might be the worst team for overs in the league, but you look for these kind of teams that they have the ability to concede 3 tries in 10 minutes, where you're like, my bet's probably gone. I need 4 more tries in the last 20 minutes. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, I just need 1 more try because the guys are giving up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're getting 2 of those kind of teams. So
of course.
I'm going overs.
I agree.
As far as the side goes,
you have to tip someone.
I have no idea.
I'm going Dolphins. Up the Finns.
I'll say...
To be pick 'em to Roosters, then to be pick 'em to Para is a different story.
On some books, you can actually get plus 2.5.
That's insane.
Which I think is completely useless.
In this game, yeah.
I would take... If I had to take one, I would take Dolphins at $2.10 as opposed to Para at $1.75.
Well, they were pick 'em last week and they pick 'em again.
Anything under $1.90 for Para, I automatically can't take it because that's how awful these guys actually are.
And I feel like Para's run will come towards the end of the year than they will now. When teams have given up and they just have their young players playing so long that they're going to start playing good. So I feel like it's not yet. I don't think they'll come last either. So
I agree with you. Moving on to Friday night, 6 p.m. sharp, back at
Game of the year.
McDonald Jones Stadium. Probably one of the back-yourself fixtures.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would say my team versus your team.
Well,
you've claimed
I've claimed Titans, fair enough, yeah.
You claim Titans probably after the week 10 mark because they start playing like idiots.
Yeah, that's when they're plus 20 against every game.
They start playing good randomly. But obviously we start with ins and outs. Coach Adam O'Brien has decided not to mess it up and he's just running out the same 7.
Well, he didn't have a bye.
That smashed out. For the Titans, the mad scientist Des, this is what he's done. Jojo Fafita is back on deck after missing Magic Round, while Jaden Campbell also returns to take over halfback from Tommy Weaver. Campbell's returned a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. Back row, David Fafita is not good enough to make the 17, so he seeks further medical advice for an ongoing ankle complaint. Seems convenient. That
what a bitch, bro. What a bitch.
Yeah, he's out of action, and apparently there's negative correlation with Jaden Campbell coming back, seeing the spread go from plus 5.5 to 6.5. You're getting more than a converted try to a Knights team that was barely laying points to Souths last week with no one. So
did you make my point for me? This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
This
Well, I guess now what they're saying is Knights are brand new again.
I have to toss and turn for the next couple of days to figure out which team I put as upset alert, but Titans are definitely not good. This is fucking ridiculous. They genuinely could win outright. It's Knights. I mean, last week everyone was so afraid to tip them. Now they're 6.5 point favourites. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing a New South Wales Cup team. You cannot more than a try with Knights. They can't even score a try until last week.
If anything, they should have been 6.5 last week and 3 this week, 4.
Yeah,
probably 4 is right.
4.5.
It's Titans at the end of the day.
But at 4.5, I would still take Titans. Titans are still a live chance to win this game. They're shit. But who is the team that literally
they literally have 6 straight losses?
Yeah, I know.
That's really bad.
But if you're
in this comp where all the teams are close to each other, they're the outlier of these are the only cunts that can't win.
Just back Titans and close your eyes. This is fucking ridiculous. It's Knights. Look, I'll tell you something about Knights. They may be able to defend, but Titans can actually score. And with Campbell back, Campbell has been playing halfback brilliantly. Remember before you went on, he was fantastic. I don't know how conveniently he's back right on schedule to make sure that they have halfback. Anyway. David Feed is shit anyway, so we don't need him, and he doesn't want to play. So you rather have players that actually want to be there
and have a dig,
right? And last week, as shit as you were against the dog side, who's coming first, we'll get to them in a second. They at least scored 18 points without a halfback the whole game,
which was my whole point of taking overs with them.
Knights. Think about it this way, right? Knights scored 30 with everyone that they could possibly name against the South side with fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Titans scored 18 against the best defensive team in the comp without their halfback. Weaver sucks, right? We know that. But to go into a game with Weaver and 10 minutes in, this guy's on the floor concussed. So you already have no halfback and you're starting your halves with Randall and Brimson.
And you had 2 sin bins.
Yeah. They still scored 18.
Yeah. Honestly, they probably should have lost. They deserved to have lost last week by 50-0.
Yeah, but they didn't, right? Not saying that they did anything right because it's fucking Titans. But in this scenario, it's the complete opposite. Dogs scored 36 when, they had everything go their way. Knights are not getting to 36. Knights might not even get to fucking 24.
Knights might not get to 12.
Knights, let's say they get to 20. I think that's a good margin. 20.
Nah.
24.
You can't pencil the Titans keep someone under.
All right, that's true. All right, 30.
Nah, you can't give Knights 30 either.
So
it's let's say fucking
24.
You just don't know.
24.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but in my scenario, if it's 24, Titans will cover easily. Titans will score 18. They scored 18 last week against a great side, yet alone Knights.
But is there a quit factor in Titans?
No. You remember, they quit for periods of time, and then they bounce back. They don't actually quit on the year.
But in my eyes, the way they capitulate in the games, it's really concerning.
Yeah, but I mean,
are Knights built to expose that? Probably not.
Okay, where do they capitulate? Let's say it started the second half, right?
Mate, when Titans capitulate,
when Titans capitulate,
they spread the love. It's everywhere.
Yeah, but that's when teams score 3 tries in 10 minutes. Are Knights even capable of scoring 3 tries in 10 minutes?
Titans will concede 3 tries to anyone.
I don't think they can. I don't think you can
they're
concede.
Last. They're literally last.
I don't think you can concede 3 tries in 10 minutes to Knights. It's not possible.
Yeah, well.
It's almost impossible to concede that many points.
I guess.
And I don't trust Knights after winning 1 game at all. Now they think they can score, which is
this is terrible timing.
Yeah, I know, because they think they can score. I agree, but they're playing a side that can score.
At the end of the day, if you put a gun to my head and said, "Do you think Titans can win?" I'll be like, "They can win." So by that sheer virtue of that,
how can
especially that it's continuously shifting to fucking over a converted try, then I feel like this is the buyback point of Titans, unfortunately.
Yes.
But if they don't cover this round, then truly, where do you go from there? Backing them next week as well until they cover.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, what are they going to be? 50 and a half the week. Yeah.
Speaking of 50 and a half, Souths are playing again, guys. But it's not 50 and a half because Broncos, they got humbled, ambushed, you name it.
I've got words for a particular player.
After flying high against the Bulldogs the previous week, they get smashed by Penrith, and because of that, you're seeing a spread of 10.5. It is now
10.
Yes, ins and outs for this one. Latrell Mitchell will captain the side from the fullback position, returning from his suspension. Jamie Humphries also returns and is back on deck. Saliva Havili lines up at hooker because Peter's out with an elbow injury. Jai Gray has been named on the bench despite leaving the field early with a corked quad. Myers is starting at centre. Tass starts Sorry, Myers is on the wing, Tuss to centres, Ewan Aitken to the back row where he truly thrives.
Backline, holy fuck, bro.
Jai Arrow goes from lock to prop and Totola drops to 18th man.
Why?
How bad is he that he can't get a run on this side? Kalao Matangi has been named in the front row with Kepi sliding. This changed everything. This is a brand new team.
Well, they lost the
Josh
night.
Schuster has been playing in reserve grade, and that's...
He's killing it.
Yeah.
He's killing it,
Yeah.
I've heard.
That's fantastic. The great return of Ezra Mam will be completed in Queensland Cup because he's not getting a run this round, which means Ben Hunt is set to partner Adam Reynolds in the halves again, and they have a useless change of Fletcher Baker coming into the bench for Jaden Hunt, who dropped the ball immediately.
I'm taking
last
South out of principle. It doesn't matter. I don't care. This is fucking ridiculous. What the fuck have you been doing for the last 9 weeks?
Training.
Has he? No, he hasn't. He should be immediately back into the team. Immediately. Do you think... I read this quote. I think it was Triple M.
Jaden Sullivan.
I think I read this quote on Triple M. How can Sam Walker, I guarantee you, first week back from ACL will go straight into the team.
Yeah.
And he has an ACL issue. What the fuck is Ezra doing? Fuck these cunts. This whole player organisation have had enough of Broncos. This is ridiculous. They're running the whole club into the fucking floor.
Well, this would literally just be Madge's decision, though.
No.
It's not like Ezra
But
was
why?
like, hey.
No. But why is he not ready?
I'm sure he is.
No, he's not. Clearly.
Well, he hasn't fucking played in like
This is like
over a year.
They deserve to lose. Honestly, I hope they lose to South. Just to this is ridiculous. This is not fucking. What did fucking what's his name last year? The convenience Ezra man. Did Leniu miss a game when he came back?
No.
How long was he out for?
A while. I think he came off.
Has any player off suspension missed a game coming back?
No, I don't think so.
Biggest suspension. What can you think of? The Leniu one.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
The Felt one.
Yeah.
Or
They normally
any
play.
suspension you think of, they come back and play. Yet alone in this scenario, when your team just got fucking walloped again in Magic Round, embarrassed on national TV against Penrith, and you get a fucking layup. It's not like you're playing fucking Brisbane, or you're not playing Melbourne, or you're playing Raiders, or you're playing Cronulla. You're playing South. He could play 50 minutes and you could take him off. It's South. No, truly, I hope they lose. As an emotional take, I hope they lose. As a fucking objective person, because everyone wants me to be objective, how the fuck is this only 10? South suck. Souths are atrocious. That forward pack is like...
false.
No, look at their pack.
Yeah. Jairo, Kolomatangi, Ewan Aitken, Talis Duncan, Hubner. Just. I mean, what are they missing from when they fucking kept covering?
Well, where's the Tola?
Well, he's available. He's
Unbelievable.
he's that bad that he can't get a go. So Humphreys is there.
The back line.
Campbell Graham.
I
Talis.
can't.
It's Bentley, Hope, and Myers that does it for me. But I mean, Latrell's back. These cunts still don't have Walsh. Well, what do you want the spread to be without Walsh? 14, 16.
Well, without Walsh and Ezra,
10
he's playing New South Wales Cup.
10 seems pretty fair. No.
Who's Broncos backline? Is the same garbage.
Yeah, Cobbo, Mariners.
So they're gonna have a great. They're gonna have a great
They're
time.
gonna smash Myers, yeah. But I mean, is the South's backline any worse than fucking running out Milky last week? Probably not. But they got smashed by him and fucking Garner. It's the same rubbish.
It's the same rubbish. Like that's what I'm saying. I hope Souths cover this game, just out of principle. I don't know how Jai Gray is playing, but literally, he's not even on the reserves, is he?
No, he's on the bench. Jai Gray.
No,
Kepi,
fucking Ezra.
No, he's literally playing Queensland Cup.
This is ridiculous. Nah, you know what? When I read this, I truly think this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, there is no player I can think of that has had this long of a suspension and just fucking doesn't come back. Where are you?
He like technically during his suspension, he should have been like getting his conditioning right night and fucking day. Of like, hey, sorry boys, I let you down for 10 weeks.
And
back.
you know what's interesting? That's the whole context of the whole club. Why do they lose games to Milky?
Yeah.
Why do they lose games to that backline that Penrith ran out? Because it's not that they not talented. It's not that they
have a
bad coach or have a bad team. The players just fucking run the whole club. That's all it is. The players just do whatever they want. We heard it from early preseason that these guys weren't happy with Madge's fucking fitness program. And clearly, you guys aren't happy because Ezra didn't do shit during that fitness program because he's not ready for week 1. Nah. Like, To me, it doesn't make any sense that he's not automatically put into number 6. Look, 1, you're playing South. 2, you just lost. 3, it's not like Walsh is there and you guys have won 20 in a row and you can take a week off. You literally lose every other game. And if you lose to South, everyone's going to be like, well, these cunts actually suck. You got to beat South. And, I'm going to play New South Wales Cup, bro. Fuck off.
I feel like if Humphreys and Latrell weren't playing and this was like 16.5, I would lay it with Broncos.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's enough there for Souths to have a pulse.
Yeah.
And if Souths have a pulse, I think they can cover 10 at home.
Yeah.
This Broncos team, like, you get a good week out of them once every 3-4 weeks, or they'll like massacre someone.
Obviously, they can destroy South and win by 20, 40, for all I know. It's South, right? But just the whole mentality of the team is pissing me off. It started from day one, but the fact of what's happened this week with Ezra, to me, like, it just shows the whole team how they are. They're just fucking, we might win, we might lose.
I don't know. Souths, they're pretty vulnerable.
They're vulnerable. You're telling me this is without Ezra?
Like in the middle of the park, fuck me. They're
they're going to get raped by Carrigan and us.
Last week I was like, Penrith can somewhat contain them because they're just willing to work extremely hard.
Souths don't even work.
They're really not. I don't know. I actually don't know if they're the right side. They're fucking terrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're terrible.
Shit.
If you put Ezra into this, let's say it was 12.5, I wouldn't even think twice. I would just take Brisbane. South suck.
But emotion aside,
South suck. I would take Brisbane. Like, in the middle of the park is literally going to get rolled by Carrigan and Haas. Like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. This is another tough game. Last week I felt like a lot of conviction with my takes. This week's like, all right, I guess Titans is a good bet. I don't really know the Para game. I'll just take overs. This Broncos Souths game, like, all right, who do you think dictates whether Souths can cover 10.5?
The rain. God himself.
If both teams play their best, do you think Souths cover 10?
Yeah. If Souths play the best... Souths play back in week 3 when they were playing gun, they'll cover 12. No, without 10. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Brisbane play really good. Well, I guess that's your answer, right? Because I think Souths... This is like last week was just a really bad spot for them. Yeah. This week they have hope. And if these cunts have hope and you think hope's enough for them to play hard, I think if they play hard, they can cover.
Yeah.
Whereas other teams, I feel like they can play hard and they'll still get raped because they're just not that good.
I think South will play hard. Do I think they can win? Hell no. But
they shouldn't win.
They shouldn't win. The Broncos should win this game, regardless of what happens. But
I think
you don't know what Broncos you're going to get. Are you going to get the Broncos that beat the shit out of Roosters, or are you going to get the Broncos that last week couldn't beat Garner and Jenkins and made them look like fucking GI and Darius Boyd? You don't know. And starting the week with saying, oh yeah, Ezra's back this week, but he can't play. Yeah, you know what's fascinating?
Tired.
I'll tell you.
What's he tired from?
I'll tell you. And this is for everyone that's probably going to say, nah, Chris was wrong, give him a week to condition. If this was Magic Round, I guarantee you would play. Well, he's going to miss Magic Round. Magic Round. Nah, Magic Round, I'm going to play New South Wales Cup, bro. I'm going to wait for South next round. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No way. Anyway,
I'm not sure what the thinking is there.
Makes no sense to me. You should be conditioned. You should be always ready to play. You're in the 30 squad. You should be ready for a call-up. I couldn't care less. You've been suspended. Couldn't care less if you're injured. If you're injured for a long period of time, half these players come back and play in NRL anyway.
Yeah.
And they've been injured.
ACL tears.
They just come back.
Achilles tears.
Some of them play New South Wales Cup, but look, they've had ACL tears, Achilles tears, like... Big injuries. They're out for a significant period of time. You haven't played in 9 weeks. Yes, you haven't played before that because it was preseason. But like, just treat it like it's round 1. You're ready. You're ready to go. What? You're scared of South?
Yeah, there's no difference. Really.
There's no difference. Ridiculous.
You guys in the comments, you can let us know if you disagree with our take. But from my perspective, like you said, Chris, there's no difference to you having a preseason and then like. It's not like week 1 you would go and play Q Cup.
Yeah, you can't. You got to go out there, right?
And once you're injured, it's out of your control, right? Like, if you have a fucking ACL tear, you can't get that conditioning through training. But if you're fully fit and healthy,
you know what's interesting?
Just through your own stupidity, I don't see why you would.
And this just goes to the mentality of the club. They think they're like 8-1.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you know what?
Yeah, if he doesn't play, it's all right. We probably beat South anyway. We're 8-1.
Yeah, we're so good. That's what that screams to me. Anyway, moving on to the top of the ladder clash.
Game of the round.
Game of the round. Possibly game of the season.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? I don't think anyone would have tipped that would be the case pre-season by week 10 that we would be getting horny over Raiders and Dogs. Shout out to Charles Kroon, Chris Carius, Matt, all the entire kennel, the entire state of Canberra, that you will be hosting such a fantastic
What
match.
a game this is going to be.
And you are hosting them with the same 17 that took down the mighty Melbourne Storm through the help of Jared Sutton. And the Bulldogs welcome back the prodigal son. Matty Burton returns from suspension. However, unfortunately, Jacob Preston gets 50-week suspension for his crusher
such
tackle,
a bad
which
decision.
truly baffles me. But yeah, I think Bailey Hayward goes to the bench and some degenerate goes to back row. I don't. Really
I think it'll be Salmon. I think Salmon will go back row and they'll probably start Kurt Mann. Well, they don't have anyone. They don't have Curran or Tupanua, so they're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
That
looks like a bit of a cluster injury in the back row, but I'm sure Serraldo and Gus have a plan there.
That's fine.
Obviously, spread. We saw Pickham before that Canberra and Melbourne game. Now we're seeing 1.5 or
two and a half on tab, I think.
On the plus. So another tough game to pick. Closely priced, evenly priced. Do the Raiders go to the top of the table with the win?
Yeah.
Technically, or is the Dogs differential too far ahead of them? I couldn't tell you. I have to check that, but. Can the Raiders bring another fucking big victory? And do they deserve to be favourites is my question, Chris.
I think they deserve to be favourites. Maybe you can just check the table, see if they go to first. It'll be close, though. Yeah, they need to win a lot.
They need to win by more than 18.
Look, do they deserve to be first the way they're playing? Probably. Them and Dogs. This is the right matchup.
Oh, no, they would go first because the Dogs have had an extra bye. They both have 7 wins.
Yeah. So, look. Do they deserve to be favourite is your question? Yes, of course. Raiders at home, full strength, 1-17 versus the Dog side. That is not full strength. Perfectly makes sense to me. But, I mean, how many times in history have you got the first place team as 2-point underdogs? They're 8-1. And
7-1.
7-1, sorry. Yes. And the last time these guys were wounded and battered and bruised, they went to Cronulla's to 11 point and won anyway.
That was, insane.
Which was nuts, right? They were battered and bruised, no Burton, no Kickow. And now they have Burton and Kickow. And obviously, Raiders are at another level compared to Cronulla, but it's still mad. It's mad to think that the team coming first is underdogs today, on Saturday, and they will be. For me, it comes down to, can Raiders keep going? And at some point, they will fall, right? But this week's a hard week to say they will, because purely, when Raiders are actually G'd up, they play really good. They're usually, when the game is Saturday, 5:30, they're playing Warriors in fucking New Zealand. They don't care. They go lose. Just stupid.
But when they're playing Melbourne...
But they play Melbourne, they play hard. They play Broncos, they play hard. They play Penrith... They're pretty good. They're decent. They play them tough. Raiders, Sharks, they always play tough. The Dogs are now at that level that they will wake up to it. The only thing is, you can argue from a Raiders perspective, is how many weeks are they going to be up for it? If you look at their schedule, they played Dolphins side, which was no fucking piss take because they were both 3 wins in a row. Now they're up for it again against Melbourne in Magic Round, and now you're expecting them to be up again against fucking Dogs.
Well, what do they have? 5 straight wins?
Yeah. Cowboys doesn't count.
They lost to them, right?
Yeah, after that they kept winning.
Yeah.
So I don't know who they've won against. But they're 5 and wins in a row.
They're the only team that's won 5 on the trot.
Yeah.
Titans, equally impressive, have lost 5 on the trot.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for tipping and for spreads...
Back the underdog.
I have to back the underdog.
Underdog.
There's no reason for first place to be underdogs.
In the even game, perceived, now that Burton's back particularly, I'm not sure you could really argue that Canberra's value at -2.
Well, look.
At a pick'em, you can be like...
No, it's not value now, but at pick'em, okay. But Dogs and Matt and every Dogs fan that watches this, you'll be on fucking high alert as frauds if you lose this game pretty badly. Every game now that you've gone in a scenario that yes, you're underdogs this time, but it's a big game, a big clash, first, second. You fucked it up every single fucking time. And this one is like, okay, you're in this game. Burden, kick out. Look, yeah, you may not have the depth in the second row, but everyone else is there. There's no reason to fucking get smashed by Raiders. You might, respectably losing by 6, okay, you gave it a fight. Losing by 4, sure. But if you go there and lose 13 plus, like you did against Brisbane, now we realise the fucking shit as well because of the way they played last week. Yeah. Literally, high fraud alert.
Famous last words from me, but I don't see either of the teams running away with it in this one.
No, of course not. But
that's why I'm
when they're close like this, it usually happens.
That's why I'm saying sometimes the pick'em games, someone ends up winning by 50 and it gets really annoying. But I feel like in the high leverage pick'em games where
they're close,
both teams are relatively evenly matched and both of them are up for it and yada, yada, yada. It's more important to get points, and any points may come valuable to you.
100%. I agree.
I'm not saying that Dogs are particularly better than Canberra, even though I think they are slightly better than them.
Well, they would be. This is only 2 points, right?
They have a cluster injury at back row, which kind of annoys me, but their best back row is still available, which I think is really, really important in this one. Burden's back as well, so I feel like if he wasn't there, Raiders would be laying like 5 or 6. And you could say what you want about Dogs without Burden, but just even the kicking game alone probably goes a long way.
Well,
in this
of course.
Of a game where I know both forward packs are going to kill each other. The Dogs with just sheer numbers in tackles and effort, and the Raiders with just sheer size and the ability to come at waves.
Ricky is a mad scientist. There's a way of beating Dogs, and I think a lot of teams have exposed it. More not this year, but towards the end of last year. And Raiders did this actually in Vegas, and it worked really well for them. If they just fucking keep pegging the offloads, they will beat Dogs.
Well, I think the interesting thing about Canberra is Ricky seems to be like, we're going to play our way, and it's up to the opposition to beat us. And when I saw it in week 1 against Warriors, I was like, I feel like Raiders are very high variance because this expansive offloading style of play will work some weeks and it won't work others, but now I blink and they're 7-2, so but they kind of have the formula.
Week 1 was something they have reined it back. They don't do it as often, but I'm saying in this particular match,
it's important against this opposition.
Against the opposition, this is something that you would have seen against Warriors. The same game plan, because for Dogs, they put a lot of players in tackles, but the way how good the greatest forwards are, they can get an offload from that, and Dogs will be like, well, fuck me, and Raiders are fucking quick, so they have really quick players everywhere, so it's very hard to stop.
It's not going to be easy. Whoever comes victorious in this game is going to have to really work their tails off. I would take Dogs because at the end of the day, I actually think they have a better attack and a better defense.
I'm tipping Dogs as well.
In isolation of how their defense plays and their attack plays within structure, I think they're actually better at both of those things. You could argue Raiders offload better. Raiders fire up more. Raiders are particularly really hard to beat in Canberra, and I'll listen to all those. But at the current price, at Pick'em, maybe I'd have a different answer. But you're getting 2 points with Dogs. If this went to Golden Point, would you be shocked?
No,
I wouldn't either. So I feel like you just want to be on the points in this sort of a game.
Dogs, it is. I agree. Up the Dogs.
Truly fucking excited to watch.
Great game, and the next one as well. To be honest, I'm truly excited for them.
I think Preston went to the fucking
4 weeks.
Judiciary to challenge
4 weeks.
that? Fuck me.
I mean, it's a rubbish call.
Normally Dogs get those calls.
I wouldn't think, but it's Preston. It's not Bitcoin.
It's not.
Critter,
the prodigal son. Moving on, 5:30 p.m. Which
game of the round?
Possibly the game of the back yourself round. This is fucking fantastic.
Shout
out to our boys, the Zerafrost brothers, and shout out to all those Wise fans that sit pretty in the top 4 and laugh at me and Chris every week because they just refuse to fucking budge and lose one. But will this be the week? We will have to find out. Just one change for Shane Flanagan. Emre Gula is out with Pacifikai Tonga. The 19-year-old makes his NRL debut. Congratulations to you, young man. And on the Warriors side of things, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak has been named of his first game of this season. Due to a wrist injury, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is listed among the reserves and chases a return from a hamstring injury. Capoel goes to centre for Rocco Berry, and Jacob Laban returns from his concussion. Ed Kossi is out with a chest injury. So we got $2 sharp as the price for the Mighty Dragons. Have they recovered from what Suo did to them last week?
Yeah, Dragons are going to win.
And will they come back to the gong and fire the fuck up?
Dragons are
for
going to
you?
win. This is the pinnacle of firing up. And the pinnacle of Warriors just wanting going home. And Warriors like, all right, you've been playing great. In my opinion, which Dragons could do this because they could pull off anything. If the other team doesn't give you the game, you guys don't fucking score. Which is going to be, Wise going to be like, nah, brah. The other team gives you the game 99% of the time. Is it because you guys tackle hard, kick long, do everything, or the simple shit right? 90% of the time, yeah. But 10% of the time, it's not true. You know what happens 10% of the time? Clifford throws an intercept at the end of the first half. And both these teams had polar opposites occur for them on the stroke of half time. Warriors went out 14 points in front and won this game by 4. Dragons were only going to be down 4 but ended up being down 16. And to show one end to another, there's one team that's won a game through holding on, playing gritty, and getting that try on the edge of half time, which if they didn't have, they would have lost. To another team that lost the game from their own mistake, which if they scored that, they probably would have won. In my opinion, Warriors want to go home. They got a great win last week. They've enjoyed Magic Round, which fair income to them. They have Dallin back, which in my opinion means they're going to start losing for no reason. It doesn't mean Dallin's a bad player. It's just like, I think he's better than what they have. But it's just like, it's convenient that all your players will slowly come back and then you'll start losing. It's just a common trend in most sports. And Dragons, on the other end, at some point, they're going to string a whole game together. Suwa might not drop it this time. Gutho has been playing great the whole year. I'm taking the Dragons at the gong.
Dragons of War are coming to play.
All right. Well, there you go. You agree with that. Shout out to Zarafrost Brothers. They also don't believe in him, so we've won. They're not even going to the game, which also
That's where they've won. Especially if James doesn't go.
He's not going. He's not going. I can confirm.
All right. The only concerning thing, as you illustrated, is...
Have they given up?
Most teams, fuck it up themselves, and Warriors don't fuck it up themselves, right? So I'm giving them credit for that in terms of they are disciplined, and they... Melbourne made a whole fucking dynasty off this back when Cameron Smith was there of, we are not going to make errors and lose. This iteration of Melbourne now is like, we have so much talent that we're going to score 50 and there's nothing you can do about it, but... Back in the day, that got you a long way in the NRL. And Wayne Bennett sides generally do this as well. It's not a bad thing to just play high, completion footy, get down the other end, strangle the opposition, win that way. It's been working for the Warriors. Does it annoy me that Dragons are the type of idiots that are going to go
give
drop
it
the
to
ball?
them, of course.
Absolutely. But like you said, situational spot. To get Dragons as underdogs at the gong... Considering how they lost last week, how the Warriors won last week, the general trajectory of both teams in terms of at what point do you sell high on the Warriors? In my eyes, I kind of want to sell them as favourites on the road, going from Queensland to New South Wales, and I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like they probably would go back to New Zealand next week for a game.
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
And at a certain point, that kind of catches up with you, and Dragons... When they're backed into a corner and they are hungry for a win, you see a different kind of Dragons outfit that we saw when they beat Manly. You saw when they beat Melbourne for no reason. They have a big upset win in them. And I'm actually kind of shocked that Dragons aren't a little bit bigger outsiders. But that just goes to show that no one's actually... Even the bookies aren't respecting... Cunts can come at me and you and be like, you guys don't think the Wars are good because you're haters.
They're not good.
Number one, literally after 9 rounds, guess what the Warriors' point differential is?
It's 0.
0.
I know it's 0.
You've scored as many points as you've conceded. And you are 1 point favourites to Dragons, who literally lost by 200 on Anzac Day and then proceeded by giving up to Tigers.
I don't have in my 8 for a reason, mate. They're not good.
So in isolation, I was like, why are Dragons not 3 or 4 point underdogs? That's kind of weird, but... Then I was like, remember last week I was like, why are Warriors getting points to Cowboys? And now I'm like, why are Warriors only laying 1? I guess you could argue that they've been valued this whole time, right? But I think at this point,
Shit
Based
spot.
on the situation, I would go with the
Yeah, it's a shit
Dragons
spot.
of War.
It's a shit spot for Warriors. I think Dragons all over this one.
I feel like this will really annoy you if Warriors win again.
Not really. Dragons are just dirt then. Like, you can't win this. Fucking give up. You have no excuse of Sewer dropping it.
They did that on
unless you do it
Anzac Day,
again.
Yeah, Sewer, I hope you ground the ball this time. I reckon Sewer any time would be a good shout.
Probably.
He's going to redeem himself, and the Dragons fans are going to erupt when he scores.
Is Tuipulotu back,
Tuipulotu's
actually?
not back.
Ah.
I mean, how can you truly expect him to win without the money, man?
We
himself?
need the money, man. Fuck's sake. Okay.
I think he's faking an injury. He's not happy with his pay. Moving on to the game of the fucking nothing, really. This is not that exciting. Cowboys hosting Penrith. After going to Bankwest and beating the shit out of them.
This is my biggest beef of every game, every spread.
Sam McIntyre of War starts at lock because Ruben Cotter is out suspended.
For what?
For a careless high tackle. 2 week suspension. I don't even know who he hit last week.
Sure.
It wasn't a sin bin conveniently,
Oh, that's
but
weird.
it's 2 weeks. And Thomas McHale has been named on the bench after
Oh,
a
no.
good stint in
They have
in Q
McHale.
Cup. A huge boost for the Premiers with Brian To'o and Mitch Kenny returning in this one. Brad Schneider is also on deck. I don't know in what capacity. Thomas Jenkins moves to the interchange bench.
Why?
With Trent Talau and Luke Somerton and Maverick Guy drop out as well.
All right, cool.
A spread of 3 to 4.5 depending on where you shop. Is that it?
Don't stop until you get to 10. This is fucking ridiculous. I mean, you know what's interesting? You just said, okay, Wise fans can come at us and say, you guys don't like Warriors, you're just haters, etc. But our rebuttal is, okay, you guys are literally 1.5 to fucking Dragons this week. Dragons nothing. They're dirt. They're not going to make the 8. Warriors apparently are touted to make the 4. Anyway, how come after losing to Warriors that these cunts are getting more respect than Warriors are? How is this 3.5?
I don't know.
Like,
That really baffles me.
look,
This is so bad.
they just lost to Warriors. And whatever I said, okay, Warriors, stop the bleeding eventually and they let Cowboys back in the game. Let's illustrate what happened in the Cowboys first half. What happened?
They gave up.
What did they even fucking lose to? Themselves, as per usual. Like, there's no reason to be that many points. There's no reason in general to give 30 points to Warriors. Second of all, to give 26 to them in halftime, like,
That's
it's
horrible.
horrible,
Yeah.
right?
They're horrible.
So let's just illustrate that. I'm not even looking at Penrith. Let's just look purely at Cowboys. Same team, minus Cotter, who's an origin fucking lock. Same team who literally were down 26-12 to Warriors at halftime. Clifford, then the second half they start rallying. It's Warriors, it's Cowboys. Obviously they're going to start rallying and think they can come back. And then they're getting more respect this week than fucking Warriors are in the market.
Yeah.
So they're saying, okay, Cowboys may have lost, but they're the better team. I can't imagine if this was the same game in New Zealand that Penrith would be only 3.5. Impossible. They would be like 6.
This is the beauty of punting, Chris, and this is why we have such a big challenge on our hands. Because you said I'm not even looking at Penrith, but truly the analysis should only come from the Penrith side. Because these cunts, the books have put a flag in the middle of the thing with a Cowboys logo, and they're like, no matter what these losers do, we're going to respect them. Right? So the reason, ask yourself, what's the reason this is 3.5? Is it because Cowboys are the best team of all time? Or is it because, well, we fucking put Panthers 6.5 last week,
Yeah.
and we can't really then, after putting them 6.5 on a neutral, go and put them 6.5 on the road, even though they got probably the best winger in the NRL and 3-time premiership fucking hooker back, who's way better than Somerton would be. So we'll just open this at 2.5 and we'll see what happens. Right? But this is actually because of cunts like you.
Why?
Because even when they were fucking garbage, I was like, oh, Penrith are like actually good.
Yeah,
They're just playing
no.
shit.
You know what?
Right?
I'm
But-
not having this. You were in Iran. You didn't watch that Dolphins
No, I
game.
agree. No, I'm talking about when they got raped by Souths and prior to that.
You can't
right?
lose to South.
But at this point, it seems like not only the public, but the books have also gotten to a point where they're like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened while I was gone, but it must have been bad for the books to be like, you know what, this Penrith team's actually not that good.
Yeah.
I still think they're that good. So I think
Well, this
3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9
There's fucking
is irrelevant in my eyes.
There's no
It's
excuse.
Cowboys.
It's no excuse this week. They have everyone. Literally, they have everyone.
Yeah.
Like the main players. Obviously, you might say, "Oh yeah, this fucking
I
forward's
guess
out."
like
Sorensen's still out.
if they
isn't he?
get raped this week and lose the Cowboys for no reason,
That's
then,
it.
Then last week was just a blip in the radar.
Look, that's more Brisbane than anyone else because they can lose to anyone. That's all it says
seems
to
that
us.
way.
But if Penrith lose to Cowboys, that's it. They're gone. I don't think they make the 8. It proves to me that they're actually not good at all.
Yeah, and they
Truly,
but they played good last week.
truly 13 plus. Like this is
I agree.
They should kill them. No reason for these cunts to even breathe.
You know what? I'm putting Penrith under the rest.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. 3.5 to these guys. You're not playing Melbourne or fucking Canberra or Dogs or I don't know who like deservedly there should be 3.5 to.
On the road,
Yeah, maybe like
Cronulla.
Sharks.
Yeah.
Or like Manly or something.
No.
Well, when they went to Manly, what was the line?
Was it Pickham?
Something like that. Makes more sense to me. But Cowboys, like, they're really bad.
Well, 3.5. Like Manly, if this was Manly instead of Cowboys, we'd take Manly.
Especially without Cotter. That's but we know Manly's 10 times better than Cowboys. These guys suck.
Yeah. Well, we saw that week 1, which everyone seems to forget.
I'm putting Panthers under the rest. This is ridiculous.
All right. Well, my
3.5.
upset alert is
Come
still
on,
under the
wake
air.
up.
I've picked every underdog except for Sunday.
This is a good opportunity for your upset alert. The
Is it?
Melbourne Storm return 1-17, which I was under the impression that Harry Grant and Warbrick and Nelson would be back this round. Nelson's in the extended bench. The others are still not to be cited. Conveniently Tigers are 1-17 as well. A spread of 15.5. Is this truly as simple as Melbourne have lost last week, so back them?
Is that it?
Wow.
I love this round because it's the polar opposites of both. Melbourne got robbed. If anyone wants to fucking fight me, they got robbed. They would have won and covered against Raiders, the gods themselves, which is another reason why I want to take Dogs because last week was a fucking highway robbery. And Tigers are the flip side of Dragons. So what scores, they probably lose. And the way they came out in the second half, they probably deserved to lose. The freeway they gave through the middle of the park for Liddell, of all cunts. I can't imagine Pappy Hughes Munster having that sort of fucking work, let alone if Nelson plays. Look, truly, this should be like 20. If obviously, they're not going to give 20. In my eyes, I'm looking at it as 20. This
is a 20-point card.
This is a 20-point card. They're dead. Tigers are, they're my team, and they keep fucking proving me like that they're actually good. And I have them in my 8. But truly, this might be the worst spot of the whole round. Melbourne lost a game that they should have won. Of all cunts, Liero and Stefano are going to be fired. Stefano's going to be fired up this game anyway because he's playing his old team. And they're playing a Tigers side who won off sheer luck that Sewer dropped it. Still think that they're covering their cracks by playing Terrell May 80 minutes and Appy as much as they can before Talon de Silva comes on and thinks he's a sick cunt. 15 is not enough for these cunts. Like, okay. I can't see it at all.
So you're saying that you would set this line without Howarth, Grant, Warbrick, Nelson, and Meany at 20.5.
Yeah.
So without those players, what would you set the line if Para went there?
Oh.
Or Titans or South? With
This week in particular, 27. They're dead.
So you would have a line of like 32 if everyone in Melbourne was healthy.
Yep. They're going to die.
I think for that, like breaking it down that way in my eyes makes the line fair. So then I think, okay, if it's a fair line, which side would I take? And you said something very interesting. You said Tigers won the comp.
Well, they did.
When they shouldn't have, really. And they also won the comp the week prior when they won on the 90th minute to Sharks.
The golden
Sharks
point,
fucked it up. Sharks messed it up themselves. But in saying that...
Oh, well, there you go. You just said the same... Like, you've said both weeks that the other team has messed it up for.
I'm even taking your point and extending it 1 week further that like there was no reason for Tigers to win that Sharks game, but they did anyway.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Now, I look in hindsight... Was there reasons for there to be chinks in the armor for Tigers in that Tigers game based on, 1, they won the comp, 2, they won the comp in 90 minutes, not 80. 3, they had a short turnaround. And 4, that was their third game in 13 days. Any win was a good win in hindsight in that context. Were they aided through Sua's actions? Of course. But winning's winning at the end of the day. And for losers, like loser franchises like Tigers and Titans and all these fucks, it doesn't have to be pretty all the time for you fucks. Like, to be 5-4 versus they could have easily lost the last 2 weeks, be 3-6, and then give up on the season.
Correct.
Right? And for those reasons, Benji's press conferences really stood out to me last week, where I don't know who it was, like one of the reporters was like, "Oh, you must be so fucking, you essentially won the comp again. You must be so happy." And Benji was like, "Not really. We were fucking garbage. Like, if it wasn't for Sua dropping the ball, we literally would lose."
Yeah, but they back it up with garbage. To your point, they weren't great against Sharks. They did enough to beat them. They weren't great again. So, like, in this scenario...
No, but I just gave you the reasons why. Like, it's hard to be great in the situation that they would play Dragons.
Okay, sure. But did they look any better than the week before at all?
No, they look worse.
Yeah. What I'm expecting from Tigers is maybe the same performance from the Dragons.
Yeah, they'll get them molested.
So if you expect Benji to be like, the last 2 weeks have been an anomaly and we're going to play gun again, then they'll cover 15 without a doubt. Yeah. But what I've seen is this group of boys because Galvin's literally 19, group of men is... These players are just going to put the same performance up because it's fucking got them a win last time and they'll hopefully get to the golden point. That's good enough for them. I don't think Benji's the type of coach and be like, all right, you boys may have won back-to-back games, but you cunts need to fucking wake up. We're fucking shit.
Well, I'm just taking him for his word, right?
Well, yeah.
Like, if that was Jason Riles, he'd be like, well, my job's done here. We got to win. Right?
Yeah, I know.
But Benji, even though he's a rookie coach, and don't get me wrong, he's not perfect, he was like, we got away with one, you know? And that means something to me. Now, you give him an 8-day turnaround. Melbourne, truly, defensively are not great.
No, they're not.
And for them to be able to cover 15 without a few of their key offensive players and pieces, I feel like they're going to have to restrict Tigers to like 16.
What do you, in what capacity?
Because I think Tigers can keep Melbourne to like 32.
Yeah, in the alternate universe.
Well, if you think they're going to go without Harry Grant, score 100, then yeah, of course they're going to cover. But I feel like Tigers are going to go there with a good mentality. They got, like we said in the preseason pod, Appy, Luai, they're going to be driving standards the whole season. And Luai and Appy, they're the type of cunts that this week would be like, boys, we beat Sharks, that was good. We probably got lucky. We beat these losers because Sua like literally gave us the win. And now this is a proper big challenge for us. I know they didn't cover the Broncos game. For those that remember, I said you shouldn't even show up without Luai and all these players. But
they haven't given up.
They actually really fucking hung in there until the sin bins and everything.
Well, they haven't given up yet, which goes to my point. It's going to happen,
right? So, glass half empty sort of guy would be like, they're going to give up and get murdered. I'm a glass half full kind of person with this club this year, and their record against the spread, where they are on the ladder, their point differential, everything points that they are capable of covering 15, and I think they're going to cover.
They're a dead team,
but they're going to lose. Don't get me wrong; they're not going to win.
No, won't win.
But this is easy cover and lose material.
And like, if there's any other fucking points that anyone wants to say, just go look at any Melbourne first half or after a loss. Just go.
Yeah.
Just tell me how much they won the first half.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't take the Tigers' first half line. I'll take the full game.
Yeah.
These guys just come out possessed every week. Now, another game of the round contender. I mean, it just gets better. Round 10
no. These two clubs are both shit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, objectively speaking,
Raiders,
Dogs.
Yeah. Knights, Titans.
I said objectively speaking.
No. Knights, Titans.
Dragons, Warriors.
Knights, Titans, oh dear.
Well, Dragons, Warriors, they have a top 4 team.
Fuck. Which one's better between...
Para and Dolphins is pretty good.
Which one's better between Knights...
South
or Broncos? Because South are involved.
South. And then I think like there's more anticipation for the review part of if Broncos go out there and give up, what will be said about Ezra?
Yeah.
But we're talking about Manly and Sharks in this one, 4 p.m. at Brookvale. Manly probably should win. Thanks. Bob's your uncle. 2.5. Is that it? Jason Saab and Jake Trbojevic return for the Sharks game. Trbojevic will start a prop. Jazz returns to the lock. Bullimore goes to the bench. Tommy Talau goes to the interchange. Aloy remains sidelined with a shoulder injury. Just one change for the Sharks. Daniel Atkinson joins the bench and Talakai is out with a concussion.
Yeah.
2.5, is that it?
It feels like every time we go to Brookvale, we just say, is that it? And they end up covering anyway. So, I mean, like, look. What's fascinating is Cowboys round 1 were 3.5 here at one point. But now Sharks are 2.5. Look, Sharks haven't played great the whole year. Can they play great against Manly? Am I banking on that?
No.
Probably not. Manly 1-7, brilliant. I think Homoli's back. Jake Trbojevic is back as well. Jazz is playing lock, which is hilarious. So who's playing hooker? Is Croker back?
Croker, yeah.
Is he back?
He's been there, hasn't he?
No. No. He hasn't.
It's Simpkin.
Oh, that's funny.
It is...
Simpkin, yeah. Because still don't have Croker. It's fine.
Where the fuck's Croker?
I don't know. He hasn't been back. He hasn't been back since round 1, like since the start.
That's fair.
Look, Cronulla haven't shown me much. Have they shown me enough to go to Manly and win? It's going to have to be their best performance of the year, in my opinion, if they're going to go to Manly and win this game. And I just don't think that's going to happen. Manly have the same record as Cronulla right now, and they've had excuses probably the whole year. Like I said, Lockie Croker hasn't played a game. Paseka's been out the whole season. Turbo has been out for the last 4 weeks. Saab's back only this week. They've had injuries across the park. The middle of the park that they played against fucking Penrith was absolutely atrocious, and they still won that game.
Was that the last time they played?
That's the last time they played the dismantled fucking Penrith for no reason, really.
All right, so you got Manly coming off dismantling Penrith and getting Jake Trbojevic and Saab back, playing at home off a bye. And you have a Sharks team that literally hasn't played besides pumping Knights, really hasn't played one impressive game.
Well, they haven't.
Maybe Cowboys.
Have they even got to 30 in any of these games?
Cowboys and Knights.
Yeah,
that's their like two.
Yeah, but they're both sides.
They played Cowboys when they literally like were the dirt of the sport, and Knights when they were the dirt of the sport, right?
And you're getting Manly like in a scenario that they're off. They didn't go to Magic Round. I'd love to get the stats, and maybe someone can put it in the comments if they can do. The team that doesn't go to Magic Round often fucking wins 100-0 in my brain when they come back. Because the teams that go to Magic Round, especially with Cronulla, that they were the first game of the round, there's no way they went home. Yeah, I'm good. I think the best thing to take is Manly. Is that it?
I'm pretty confident that this is just a no-brainer. You like
take Manly and don't think about
it. I would start thinking about the other side if this was like 4 or 5.5.
Yeah.
Sharks are not playing good enough. I guess the spread's just been put on paper of like, oh, Sharks have all these players. Like,
well, they have one,
which I respect, right? Like, I'm never going to scoff at Cronulla, but coming off a Golden Point loss to Tigers, going to Magic Round, winning pretty easily without playing great, then like outside of Melbourne, who really goes to Brookvale and wins at 4 p.m. on a Sunday? No one.
No one.
It's just that simple. Like minus 2.5 is that it?
I think this is probably the most simple analysis of the round, to be honest. I can't make any
I would
argument for Cronulla.
I think I would have put Manly under duress, but the Penrith one was just stupidly priced. So I was like, was that it?
Well, if Manly drops to 1.5 in some fucking alternate universe, that's ridiculous. Honestly, that's ridiculous.
I can only see it pushing the other way.
Yeah, I can only see it going.
I don't think it will move.
Yeah, it's just probably stay on 2.
Our kickoff would be 2. Which, again, is that it?
Is that it?
So we said... You kind of alluded that you're leaning a lot of underdogs this round. So you're going Titans.
Titans, Dogs.
Titans,
South.
Dogs, Dragons.
South.
Souths.
Who's the last game? That's it.
Okay. About half the round.
Dolphins, technically.
We need an upset alert from you, sir.
Oh, what? Fuck.
Sound the fucking alarm. Get the alarms going.
How many times? Like, I think I get this blessing once a year, and I say it to you every time.
Dogs.
It's going to be impossible to get this team ever as underdogs after this week. I have to take Dogs. There's no other scenario I can think of that they're going to be underdogs. Maybe Melbourne in Amy Park, but I wouldn't want to fucking bet against them there. So, yeah. Even Melbourne and Amy Park this week, you could argue Dogs would probably be pick 'em. The way Melbourne don't have everyone. So,
no.
Melbourne will be favourite. I know you're scared of fucking Munster. But I think in this case, you're not going to get the team coming first in a lot of scenarios to be underdogs. So I'm going to have to take the Dogs. Do I expect them to win? It's going to be fucking close. I will tip them, but let's hope Dogs fans, for you guys, I want you to win because streak away and plus gives Raiders a
Well,
loss. So fuck off.
at the same price, are you more confident in Dogs or Dolphins?
Not Dogs.
Yeah.
Dolphins, they can't fuck it up.
Yeah.
If they've truly given up on the year, they will lose. But I don't think they have, so I think they'll.
They can easily lose the
We could get like 2 underdogs in a row winning, South covering, and then Dogs winning, and then Dragons winning. It could be that sort of round.
Oh, it's just bang, 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 bang. Just
And then the end is everyone's fucking, all right, I'll take Tigers. Bro, they're getting 15 points, and they're the ones who get hammered by Melbourne.
Yeah.
I can see that sort of round.
What are you most excited for? Your 3 key points of the round? I got mine already.
Well, I'm excited. Look, the first 2, Para's just going to be a good watch because there should be a lot of points. No, that's not going to be
Overs,
it. Yeah, that's not going to be it. Titans, for comedy, Titans Knights is going to be great. But my true watch is just to see how Brisbane perform after last week. Can they just go out and annihilate everyone? Dogs Raiders, it's its own entity. It has to be in there. What a game that's going to be. And you know what? I feel like it's been underrated this round because no one gives a fuck about it and the rest of the round. Manly Sharks should be a good game.
It's a cracking game. I'm telling you, this is a really good round.
I would love to see, in my eyes, because like I'm not jumping off the Sharks bandwagon. I still think they're decent and they can be better. But if Manly go there and really put a statement against Cronulla, I think the league will be like, fuck, these cunts are back. Like, these cunts can fucking score.
I feel like the league's kind of sleeping on them.
I think they're a bit like, everyone's like, oh, well, it's Manly. I think like, Manly's fucking good. So just be careful.
I was really surprised to see that 2.5.
Yeah.
For me, number 1.
You want to see Tigers ambush?
I really want to see this Dogs Raiders game. It's fucking good.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
great.
I didn't include Dragons. Sorry, Zara.
Number 2 is Dragons. Can they truly fire the fuck up? Or will Warriors just continue like... I can sit here and laugh at their point differential, but if they're like 7-2, then what can I really say about them?
And then you're going to say Penrith.
Number 3 is... What did fucking Titans have in the tank?
Ah, yes.
That they can go out there
Titans.
and give up. Go Titans of War. They actually are the most under duress, but just fuck me.
No, wait till they're at home. I would say.
Anyway, all right. Let's go Titans. Let's go Souths. Let's
go
go
Dogs.
Dragons.
Come on, Dogs.
Let's go Doggies.
Doggies, bro. Doggies.
Let's go the Dolphins, I guess.
Who cares?
Fins down. All right. Peace out, guys. Catch you for the review. Want to hear you in the comments.
Do you?
Not really. I'll chat to you boys later. Peace out.
Later.